You know, it's not that surprising that as a trading card game player, I've always played less aggro and more control. Security control gets some major upgrades with BT5, and it's honestly pretty hilarious. For you, not your opponent. In today's deck, I'm going over a variant of security control that I've been playtesting. Let's begin. This deck runs 5 level 2s, 5 level 3s, 0 level 4s, 5 level 5s, 10 level 6s, 4 level 7s, 20 option cards, and a whopping 5 Tamers. If you thought security control was annoying before, well, let's go with the card by card. This deck runs 5 level 2 reds, simply to throw your opponent off guard. It can be any red level 2. Honestly, doesn't matter what you're playing because none of your level 2 babies digivolve into anything. For me, I'm representing with Koromon for the deck, which ended up with 4 starter deck Koromon and 1 BT5 Koromon. The main reason for this is to have your red source active at all times. Level 3s, I run 3 Salamon and 2 Lucemon. Both of these Digimon provide security recovery and can be played with Magnedormon's when attacking effect. Salamon simply has to be deleted in order to trigger its effect, which honestly isn't a problem. Lucemon, on the other hand, recovers on play, and if I have 10 cards in my trash, I can play him for 5 instead. He's also a pretty big body. But remember, this deck isn't relying on level 3s as your win condition, but more so your opponent decking themselves out. As I mentioned earlier, there are no level 4s in this deck. No blockers, nada. Zip. Level 5s, I run the standard 4 Magna-Angemon from BT1 and 1 Mistymon. Magna-Angemon allows for me to recover 1 security on play. In addition, he is a Digivolution option for Magnedoromon, but overall he's just security recovery. Mistymon? Just for handling the small rookies that my opponent may play to try and go wide on my board. For level 6s, I run 4 Machinedramon, 2 Dandevimon, and 4 Magnedoromon. Machinedramon is probably the MVP level 6 of the deck. Not only is he a blocker, but he can also de-digivolve my opponent's Digimon. Lordknightmon a problem? Bye! Level 5 about to go to Nidhoggmon? See ya! Hexablaumon locking you on board? Sayonara! My second favorite level 6 in this deck would be Dandevimon. Not only does his ability to trash your opponent's top security hurt them, but when Dandevimon is deleted, they lose 2 cards in their hand. Sometimes trashing cards can be advantageous, but overall, if you're not getting a lot to work with, it can be deadly. Besides that, both Machinedramon and Dandevimon are viable targets to digivolve into my level 7 Digimon of the deck. Omnimon, Zwart defeat. Lastly, Magnedoromon helps me recover security if it's looking grim. Omnimon Zwart can be one annoying little bugger in this format. When you think you're safe with a memory stabilizing Tamer, if your opponent evos into this, that Tamer is deleted. And even worse, if they attack Zwart defeat, he deletes a Digimon on the field when he's deleted. And I don't see many people running the blue Metal Garurumon from BT5 to avoid this. Zwart also has the threatening ability that if he's checked into the security, he plays himself. Suddenly you go from nothing on your board to this huge threat that on deletion deletes whatever killed it, or any target. The real power of this deck comes from the various option cards that help support and defend you. Ultimate Flare is a beast of a card for black decks, at least for now. Your primary way of playing this card will be to utilize Izzy Azumi, the Black Tamer. But you also have Machinedramon as another way to have an active black source. Ultimate Flare is basically Machinedramon, but then deletes all Digimon with a play cost of 3 or less. In essence, any kind of rush deck doesn't stand a chance. Plasma Stake is to help remove any of your opponent's Digimon that may just be big in general. But because of the stipulation of being a Digimon with 13,000 DP or more, I only wanted 2 copies for that reason. Trident Revolver is an amazing card that not only deletes an opponent's Digimon with 6,000 DP or less, but also lets you play a 4-cost Tamer from your hand without paying its memory cost. Then, you get to trigger the Tamer's effect. In general, there are so many Digimon with 6,000 DP or less that you could even hit some level 5s. But the best perk is being able to play both your Tamers of Izzy Azumi and Tai Kamiya and Matt Ishida. Then we come to the reason why security control got super annoying this format. Not only do you have Gaia Force to deal with now, but you also have Transcendent Sword. Transcendent Sword is an option card that lets you delete a Digimon on the field with 11,000 DP or less. And more than likely, you'll be able to delete any level 6 in play. However, if you happen to be unlucky and hit the Zwart defeat in security first, then this card, it deletes a Digimon with 15,000 DP or less instead. Gaia Force? Standard in the deck. Then there's Blade of the True. Interestingly enough, you don't run much yellow in this deck. Honestly, this card is more so in the deck to help facilitate some draw power. Keep in mind, you get to draw a card for every 2 security you have. If you manage to go turn 1 Magna Angemon, and it survives long enough for you to play this, you'll draw 3 cards to your hand. Not a bad deal. And lastly, 1 Tactical Retreat. Maybe you and your opponent are down to 1 security piece, but you only have a Magnadramon on the field. Send it to the top of the security, then play 1 more Digimon to pass it back. As for Tamers, you run 3 Izzy Azumi and 3 Tai Kamiya and Matt Ishida. Izzy Azumi is one of the best Tamers for this deck. Not only do you get to check your top 3, but you can rearrange them in any way you want back on top. This lets you arrange into what you draw and potentially what you put on top of the security if you recover. As for Tai Kamiya and Matt Ishida, these Tamers give you 2 memory if your opponent has a Digimon that's level 6 or higher. In addition, your Omnimon gets security check +1. That Omnimon's Zwart defeat becomes a huge threat with this Tamer on the board, if not multiple. And that's it! That concludes security control. Have you started playtesting security control as well? How did you streamline the deck, and how does it feel in the BT5 format? Let me know in the comments below. And remember, if you enjoy this type of content, please like and subscribe. It provides me with feedback on what kind of content you, the viewer, wants to see. And as always, this is DIGI-PANDA, logging out.